Hello and welcome again to Bite Size Chat. We're sitting down today with a special guest who's doing an incredible thing among women in leadership, CAREhER. And we're going to understand the brain behind CAREhER, the philosophy behind CAREhER, and to also know more about how women in leadership get to network. If that's your cup of tea, stick with us and enjoy the Bite Size Chat. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you again for joining Bite Size Chat.
Thank you.
My pleasure to have you here today and to tell us all about CAREhER, your journey in leadership as a woman. It often is, I think, is a part of the industry that's overlooked, women empowerment and sort of getting strong women network in businesses. How would you introduce CAREhER? Maybe we start from there.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. I'm Tiffany,
Pleasure.
co-founder of CAREhER. We are building the most, I would say, thriving and global community for ambitious women in Asia Pacific to connect, grow, and belong. One of my job is actually we have a podcast show called Leading Ladies and another show called Belong. So usually I am not the one being asked
you're
questions.
The one interviewing people. I love that. That's why we also switch place, because usually I sit there and so that worked quite well.
But it's such a privilege and it's great. Thank you for the opportunity because I never really get to think about my journey. It's been almost 10 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of learning, some setbacks, of course, and very exciting future ahead. So it was really through the questions and really through this invite, I had the opportunity to kind of think about this journey. And I'm still on this journey, so lovely to share.
Ah, fantastic. So take us through that journey then, the philosophy behind CAREhER, the foundation. What was that moment of realization to you that made you think, I need to do this?
I don't think there's a definite moment.
Okay.
For me, it was really kind of going with the flow and try and error. I think most entrepreneurs would have a great vision set out, but the reality will kind of crush you and kind of redefine your directions. A little bit about myself. I'm born and raised in Taipei. However, my upbringing has always been quite cross-border. So that's something that really echoes what CAREhER stands for, that cross-border globalness for women. And I looked back. One of the reasons for CAREhER to be, I wanted it to be very global from the get-go is before 6, I actually went to 6 different schools before the age of 6.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So literally a school each year.
Almost.
Okay.
So I went to a Japanese kindergarten because my family has deep roots with Japan, and my parents thought it would be fun for me to learn Japanese. But then my dad had residency in Palo Alto, so we then moved to U.S. for a couple years.
Right.
And then I came back to Taiwan, went to international school, but then my parents were thinking, oh, I need to learn Chinese. So then I went back to a local school and kind of grew up in Taipei since. And that journey, although my parents joke about it a lot, that, I go to a school, I kind of like disrupt it, and then I leave without any consequences. But that really shaped how I feel about how we adapt to new environments, how it's important to kind of build and make new friends when you're at a new environment. And most important elements, probably the sense of belonging.
Yes.
And that's what kind of drive me the whole journey. And for CAREhER, it's also a journey of kind of defining it and scaling that sense of belonging. So that was really in the beginning when my childhood kind of impact how I feel about the importance of adapting to your environment, that sense of belonging. Fast forward, I returned back to California for my law school education, and I graduated and moved back to Bay Area. However, that's probably the time that I felt most alone. Like I'm very surrounded, but very alone. A lot of my friends are very settled. They have jobs in big tech, Silicon Valley, weekends in Napa, flying to Tahoe for ski trips, coming back to Asia on the Christmas breaks. For me, I was looking for something else, and I felt very isolated because what I'm looking for is not what my friends are doing at that point. I was a little bit behind them because I went to longer grad school.
Right.
And that really made me start going to different workshops, talks, and really finding that element of entrepreneurship really kind of interest me. And I started chatting these ideas with my friends who's not around me, who are in Asia starting their own venture,
Right.
who's working in Japan or Singapore. And that element of you actually built that connection and understanding, not through vicinity or that distance, the same area code.
There's no limitation on distance.
Yeah, but it's actually what you both value and you're inspired by. I had a lot of our conversations with friends that far away from the States, they're in Asia, and that really sparked my drive to start something for women to really find that support net and belonging. And in the beginning, it was really simple. I was like, how hard could that be?
Right.
Every entrepreneur start with, how hard can that be?
Yeah.
And so we started a blog.
Yeah.
Me and my couple friends were like, we'll just interview all these like brilliant women around us and let them talk about their career, how they find themselves, how they built their support. So that was the first stage of CAREhER. It was a simple blog. We had a very, very small team of 3. And we did a couple of advertisements, job matching, a lot of content. So that was up until 2000, I would say 16. It was really try and error. I didn't have a lot of vision or strategy in it. It's more just the need that I have that time.
It's often the best way to start off with.
I just wanted to fix that problem.
And then solve a problem. Yeah.
And I was younger at that time, so I thought, we just need to gather a group of people.
Yeah.
And we did kind of meet a lot of interesting and amazing supporters for the community, mentors as well. But then we definitely hit, without strategy, of course, you're going to hit a business ceiling, right?
Exactly, yeah.
While I was very confused and a little bit tired at that time, luckily I had this opportunity that another consulting firm in Australia, they wanted to expand to Asia.
Okay.
So they saw our work, CAREhER, and because we did English and Mandarin at that time, very few platforms or blogs does that.
Bilingual,
Yes. It would seem pretentious at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So we did that, and then they asked me, hey, do you want to join the team and lead Singapore and Japan? And that kind of flashed back to my childhood. Like, again, I wasn't prepared, but I was like, yeah, why not? I'll just go. I love Japan, and I don't know anyone in Singapore, but they speak English, so I'll be fine. So I took on that opportunity. It's a DEI consulting firm, and it does echo with what I believe in, like empowering women, attracting, retaining, advancing women talent. So I did that, and looking back, there are times when you don't know what's going to happen. It's actually better for you.
Oftentimes, I think, not having any foresight into what you're getting into. There might be a slight fear of the unknown, which kicks in.
But the excitement always outweighs that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think often when I've tried things, like, for example, on this podcast, and I probably said it a few times on other episodes, is the idea was born a long time ago. But it was just that fear. And I think I was overthinking it, and I sort of put pressure on the excitement of it and go forward and do it rather than, I was just like, I'm not doing it. And then eventually I was like, you know what, whatever, just get it done.
You never know.
Out as you go through it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I think with that, what I wanted to pick your brain on a little bit is, if I could, is when you've met, the problem was trying to empower women and people in similar situations that maybe they feel lonely, maybe they feel they don't have the right network around them. What has been the biggest challenge trying to get people to be comfortable about being together and talking about issues together? Often it's not so much for women to be together and talk together, but it's difficult for them to make friends. Guys tend to, hey, you meet a guy at the bar or something and you just start talking anyway. But in a professional setting, women are kind of the opposite. They're a bit more reserved. And how have you managed to encourage people to, get involved? Yeah.
So going back to what triggered CAREhER, empowerment is such a, I would say it's kind of a vague word, because people will be like, yes, we know you need to empower people, but how do you do it? So I want to bring it a bit more concrete. Is I love what you said, that when you feel, and it's okay, it's when you feel alone, when you feel like nobody understands, or you don't know where to start. And that sense of belonging, looking back, I think it's what triggered CAREhER. And going back to what you said about how can we let women feel comfortable coming out to network and building that relationship, there are 3 things that for the past 10 years, even when I was working for another company, that is something we kept in mind to kind of build what CAREhER's environment and culture is about. The first one is really the element of trust.
Yeah.
So women coming to our events trusted that we are going to curate the best content.
Yeah.
We are going to find great speakers, and women coming to this community all are quite like-minded. So that element of trust, and knowing that there's no, it's going to be aesthetically pretty as well.
Right.
So that's really the element of trust.
Yeah.
And a second one goes to women feel comfortable when those type of networking or meeting is not transactional.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think for men, sometimes it's okay that they go into a meeting or meeting
there's an
people.
end game.
Yes, and they have this agenda, and it's okay.
Yeah.
But sometimes for women, you wanted to kind of sort out what's going on first. You want to trust this person first, and then you can probably think about other potential business opportunities in the future. So removing that transactional element is quite important, and that's also this atmosphere we're trying to create.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third one is really to let people feel that there's a next step to grow together. Oftentimes people, what I often said is, nowadays you're not fighting for people's, money or
It's the time.
interest. It's the time that you're, especially for this premium women community that we're aiming for. Everyone's super busy.
Yeah.
So it's really the time that we're aiming for. And that's also you wanted them to feel that they actively wanted to go. It's not mandatory, it's not forced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I felt during my the second stage of this, where I was working for the consulting firm. We helped a lot of corporate do programs. And you can tell that these women come because it's mandatory.
Yeah.
And that sense of wanting to connect and
it
deepen.
Doesn't feel authentic enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's also why I decided to restart CAREhER.
Okay.
Because during that time while I was traveling in Japan and Singapore and Taipei a lot, our blog is still there and people still contact us.
Yeah.
And there are still interesting projects coming. And I also realized the power community really outweighs a lot of other things. And people talk about community, but it's not easy to build one, because you need to put in a lot of heart and soul, and you really need to be consistent.
Yeah. And I think it's a good place to land on for what I was thinking next is, if you don't have the community and all of a sudden people come around, one of the elements that would sort of encourage you to want to embrace that is the trust you mentioned. But also it feels like it can be a bit draining, especially in this day and age. You have to attend to this, you have to attend to that, how do you facilitate the space? Because trying to empower someone, you have to create an empowering environment to start off with. How do you facilitate these events that they come in and they feel they have more energy, or they take more energy from the event to fuel them going forward? Because you could go to some of these networking events and you're just drained.
Yes.
I mean, I'm more tired than, there's this person talking, that person talking, and there's too many things going on at a time. How do you make sure that space is where people come and feel energized?
We restarted CAREhER in 2020. That's during COVID. So from now...
That's perfect timing.
Yeah, it's perfect timing because people are super isolated, right?
Yeah.
And for the past 5 years, I probably met over 2,000 people.
Okay.
We hosted at least 20 to 30 events, various sizes, from small networking events to big summits.
Yeah.
So over the past 5 years. And I am an extrovert, but it's still a lot of people here meeting. No, I'm very introverted. I am an extrovert, but meeting 2,000 people, facilitating these networking, putting to the thought, and it's not just and memorizing their names and faces,
that was
right?
what I was going to say. I mean, I meet 2 people in a week, and I still struggle to remember.
That's just
names.
men. That's just men.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But and so for me, even though I'm naturally good at connecting people and I'm curious about most people, I had to develop a system too.
Okay.
To manage my energy and to facilitate our events and to let people come and know that they're not going to get drained. You get something out of it. So it really goes back to one thing. It's the purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
And purpose needs to be facilitated.
Yeah.
A lot of people like hosting, but hosting and really having a community and a professional event hosting is very different.
Yeah.
And so for CAREhER, it's really a mix of elements of, there's a strong purpose. You're here to network with like-minded people, right? So that's the first element, that it's not like a dating place.
Yeah.
It's not like a business transactional place. You're not going to run into people that's trying to sell insurance, right? People's going to respect each other.
Right.
You're here to really meet other like-minded people. And everyone's here who are quite ambitious about their career. So that's already vetted through our branding, our setup. So that purpose is very clear, right? Yeah. And the second element I would say is really the host needs to facilitate. And our team, and huge props to our team, they really put in the time to make everyone feel welcomed. Okay. So we try to remember everyone's name and faces. It's not difficult, to be honest. Like, you stalk people, it's quite easy.
Okay. So I'm just thinking, I want to throw a birthday party for my 5-year-old who's turning 6. And it's like, that person needs to be there. And he's also, sometimes there's the political element. Can these 2 kids play together?
Yes.
Walk me through a typical sort of type of how you start to make sure the right people are in the room. Because it could be just one wrong person.
Yes.
And he just sucks out all the energy from the rest of the group. How do you, on a typical day, just walk us through, and also maybe for someone listening in who's thinking about going along the similar lines of organization setup, what should they be watching out for? And how do they set up on a typical day?
There are surprises that you can prevent, but there are surprises that would just happen on site. So this is like 2 quite different scenarios that you can kind of tackle it, and we kind of have a system for that. So let's talk about the preventable ones that requires you to put in some homework. We always do very strict RSVP.
Okay.
And I chase them, like, if you're not coming, let us know, because we want them to know we put in a lot of thought into our events. We hope them would return that respect as well. And we wanted to quality control who's coming, who's not, right?
Okay.
And sometimes we always kind of, regardless of the size, if it's a smaller event, it's easier to control. For bigger summits, we always kind of look into who's coming and what are their backgrounds.
Okay.
And I will potentially always think about who can I introduce to who.
Okay.
Based on their common backgrounds. They're both in renewable energy and tech, or both from Japan, both traveling to Taipei for this event.
So you sort of matchmake before?
I do, yeah. Okay. I kind of matchmake. And I would, most of these people, I would message them and say, thank you for coming. I look very forward. Our team will send out a confirmation email, and so we get more information. So if there's just one information, you don't need to do much, but just one information that help you connect with them more and help them connect with someone. We would definitely try to put in the effort to make them feel that, hey,
personalized
and we've noticed. Like anything you do, we notice. So, for example, we have members from Japan traveling to Taiwan to attend our summer summit in Kaohsiung. It's like a vacation for them too, right? To get to know the city, but you also get to know local friends and you learn something. So we'll make sure that we introduce them to our local Japanese members. We'll be like, hey, like there's a bunch of girls from Tokyo that's coming, and we'll place them next to you. Can you take care of them too?
That's very intricate kind of planning, because even, for some of the summits you got maybe 50, 100 people there. The table set up itself. You have to understand who's sitting with who.
Yes.
I mean,
but you know, like that's where the empowerment comes in. You decentralize those tasks to your community because people are there to network.
Yeah.
So you're giving them a reason to meet these people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, for example, our speakers and our VIPs or corporate partners, they will love to meet people in their supply chain or outside of their industry. So we usually kind of place them together, and I would verbally be like, hey, welcome, you know, like we place these people around you. You can get to meet them. Blah, blah. I will like quickly introduce them. Yeah. So during the event day, I always tell my team like, okay, I'm like super busy, so don't assign a fixed task on me because I will be floating around introducing people, and so seating them with a common background or a potential conversation point is something a host should kind of do. And sometimes, and it's great because our community, it's very referral based.
Okay.
A lot of people will bring their friend, so they're very, very rare that they come alone.
Yeah.
If there are people coming alone, which it's our duty to take good care of them. So when we notice people who are just coming to the event for first time, or if they are coming by themselves, I will make sure to go talk to them, introduce them to someone who has been to our event a couple times, and we'll kind of be like, hey, you're going to be the alumni. Can you? Yeah, it's like a sorority. You know, you take care of your new sisters, or even just in Japanese we say senpai, like you take care of them, right? Okay. So we assign that to our community, and you know that's why it's so rewarding because a lot of our more I wouldn't say senior members, but the members who have joined us for a long time, they are so willing to take care of new members, and they also have that kind of you kind of empower them by giving them a task, right? Like you're like, hey, you're in charge of this. And another example is we do Japan, we do Taipei and Kaohsiung, right? Okay. And what I love about our members in Kaohsiung, we'll always be like, hey, like we are gonna have like a lot of people coming to Kaohsiung. Can you help take care of these people? Yeah. So, and I think that's what women's great at. We love, you know, taking care of people. Yeah. And so decentralizing that, assigning that is key.
And I think it sounds like there's a lot of work towards the members, new joiners, old joiners, and making sure everybody walks away feeling important, part of the group. Yes. To a lot of people who are listening to this, and that's all fair and well, you're providing a service. But these days I find the brand is actually the person behind the brand. People want to understand a bit more of that person. How do you take care of yourself in running all of this?
It goes back to what I was saying. My CAREhER and my business is very deeply embedded in relationships, in connections, relationships, right? And that requires a lot of energy. One thing, you got to find something you're good at and kind of just fine tune it and scale it. So I found what I'm good at, which is kind of matching people, reading people, doing a people business. But at the same time, you need to, going back to what I say, structure it. And you needed to also manage your own energy. So for me, I'm always thinking of ways to make the introduction or make different meetups or hangouts less energy consuming. Right?
How is that? Because this is super huge. You know, so I mean, for some people, is it meditation? Is it going to the gym? Is it sort of running? How do you sort of personally? Because I think I remember. I think it was Steve. I think so. I think it was Steve Parker was talking about meditation and breath works. All of these things that, if someone was like, oh, I get so exhausted every day running these events and doing. How does she get so much energy? Just keep going and going.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. So
you're definitely a superhuman.
No, like I think it really goes back to knowing yourself, self-discovery, which I went through that in my 30s. And I'm not I'm pretty sure I have ADHD. So like meditation, anything that requires me to calm down actually stresses me out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The voice inside me, if you want me to meditate, the voice inside me would just
start talking.
Okay. But I realized like taking a walk, so I'm still having movement.
Yeah.
Or
to counter that.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I meant about structure and planning is if I plan these meetings or if I structure these things, if I align expectations or even my time better, those meetings become actually a fuel instead of draining me down because it has meaning, it has purpose, these people energize me, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, so you're taking from them as well.
Yes, exactly. And I realize that it comes with preparation.
Yeah.
It's really, a lot of people feel like, oh, you know, meeting people, we can just casually do that. But sometimes you really need to kind of prepare. And for me, it's like to have this conversation to bring in more meaning, I would do the homework.
Right.
And if I know this person is someone I cannot probably connect or help at this moment, I've also developed a more polite and nice way to kind of delay that interaction to a better time.
Yeah.
So those are a lot of learnings I had the past 5 years.
Yeah, and that sounds fair because not everybody's active. Gym or whatever other events.
No, I hate workouts. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to be asking. We're going to be doing a quick fire round. I'll probably bring that up as well. But it makes sense because your fueling pathway is meeting people and then networking. So you hear a lot about meditating and ice baths and extreme, Ironman type exercises just to keep the person sane and going. And for me, I kind of like sports. So I play football or badminton, table tennis, not badminton, or cook. I actually find two things to a lot of people it's quite boring, but ironing.
Oh, wow.
It's just me being in a space where I'm doing that, and that's really not what I'm doing. It's me resetting and planning.
Right.
Or if I'm cooking.
But you still have that movement going on.
I guess, yes. Or I'm in the kitchen trying to figure out how to cook this, and I probably have ADHD too, because I can't sit still. I can't,
Yeah. And actually, I had this conversation with ChatGPT recently because everyone kept telling me, why don't you try meditation? And then I asked ChatGPT this question. I was like, for me, do you think I asked him if I have ADHD and all that question. And then there was a really good response saying that for people who probably would relax more through movement, a quick walk or just doing something like you said, ironing, which has that movement element, would work better than sitting still.
Yeah.
And also, I'm trying to reserve my energy by not doing too extreme sports as well.
Yeah.
So fast walking for me is great. And I travel quite often. I go to Tokyo and Singapore. Yeah. So I also kind of develop a routine to kind of enjoying the alone time, preserving my energy. But when I land, I'm ready to meet and go.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are there's no one size fit all.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but figuring it out, I think it's a very important journey for every leader. Yeah. Getting at what doesn't matter your age, you're still kind of getting to know yourself. Correct. You're still at that self-discovery journey.
And it changes, doesn't it? Because when you're 18, the things that interest you might be completely different. And then when you're a bit older, you find other things more appealing or interesting. So there's never a one way of, I'm this person 20, 30, 50, and I'll be that person 100 years.
Yes, definitely.
It doesn't make sense at all. One thing I wanted to pick up on, we talked a bit about yourself, how it started and everything else. These days there's so many sort of paid networking groups. Everybody is calling themselves sort of unique and special until you get in and find out. I know the kind of work that you guys do, and I was amazed by it. I know people who've been to it, and the reviews and the referrals it speaks for itself.
Thank you.
Do you often feel people might look at you and think is this just yet another sort of paid networking? Did you get that, and how do you deal with that to try and convince people? I know the reviews are there, you know, the referrals are there, but it still may not stop people from having that opinion. How do you sort of approach that? In a way, appreciate their view to then give them a different view of what this is, what CAREhER stands for, what they're trying to do.
We definitely get some questions and challenges time to time. But I think what's pretty good about having kind of a tunnel vision, like what I'm kind of at this point, because we are quite busy and there's always new projects coming.
Right.
So the work would speak for itself, to be honest. And a little bit about the new CAREhER, although we are a community-driven platform and it's membership-based, but I would say 70% of my time is really building the marketing leg of this company.
Right.
And I think that's what makes us very different than a lot of the other women network or membership-based, because we work closely with a lot of corporates and, you know, it's very lucky because these are, you know, companies in AI and semiconductor, energy, finance. There's a lot of really interesting projects that we help them with employer branding or just access to these brilliant women community. And the one thing I really enjoy working with corporate is that you really get to, it sounds like a cliche, but you stand on their shoulder. And you get to look at things in a very different
What does that mean? Stand on their shoulder. Break it down for the 18-year-old girl who's listening, not sure about you know what that means. What do you mean by stand?
I don't know if it's a thing, like it's like a bird eye vision. Does that
bird's eye view,
bird eye view. So a lot of times when you started with your career, you look at pieces and you're trying to put that puzzle together, right? And for us as a marketing firm, this part, we're so lucky that when we're doing projects, I don't have to work in the company, but I get to know their projects, their industry, and for us, we can kind of picture what's going on. So, for example, let's talk about AI. It's the most hot topic right now, right? They're the application part, they're the manufacturing part. In Taiwan, everybody knows TSMC, where they manufacture the chips, right? They work with NVIDIA, and then you go down the road, you have Micron, you have ASC, you have ASML, who's doing the EUV and all that. So you kind of know the whole process. And a lot of times, if you decided not to be an expert in one genre, it's quite nice to have that view as a generalist, and it helps you strategize a bit better as well. So for us, I think we're really lucky in a way that we are a platform not just for our members. We're also a platform for our clients and partners as well. Everyone who's in manufacturer side wanted to know more about the user's need, right? Everyone who in the luxury or user side wanted to know what's going on in terms of, you know, the manufacturing side. And then we have software, we have luxury brands. We also have banking, where you look back, you can think about ESG criteria, green capital. So it's always fun for us to see, and you kind of know who's doing well, who's not as well.
Do you try to bring it as, I'm not sure you're as you think you are?
You know, one good indicator is corporates who work with us generally are doing quite well. So they have the budget to do employer branding, and they need more talents, right? And we do a lot of internal events as well, and you really get to know, you know, and I'm always amazed by these leaders when they share what's going on, and when they talk about how they want to lead the team to this product launch. For me, it's such a blessing that I don't need to work at that company, but I get to really speak to these people, learn from them. We do a lot of events, so a lot of them are speakers. So they're usually executive level or more C-level. You know, some of them as well. Like, they're all so impressive in a way, and I guess we're lucky because we only see their like super nice side too. Right? Like, I learn from how they are as a leader, and working with them. You know, building that relationship with them, and that actually fuels me. So I never feel tired when I have to do these meetings with those corporates, because they always have something new. They're at the front line of these movements, I would say, right? And you hear from them, learn from them, and even they go to internal workshops in their company, right?
And I think a lot of the time when people have seen what I'm doing outside of my 9 to 5, I'm like, how do you get time to do this? How you don't feel tired because your work is stressful? And I'm often like, you know what? When I'm here cooking or sitting down having the chat with other people, actually it does fuel me. I get more energy from this to then go back.
Yes.
Because on the other side, it takes a lot of my energy, having to deal with, not because I don't enjoy it, I do enjoy what I do, but it's a different kind of energy. It's the one that takes. So you need to find something that would fuel you.
Exactly.
And doing this podcast, sitting down with people like yourself, I hear so many amazing stories, amazing journeys, and I'm like, you know what? This is why I want to do this.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So, you know, not the end, but thank you. I wanted to go into a quick fire round.
Can I quickly add one thing for
Go on,
the previous?
before we go with that. Okay. Please go ahead.
And another element I think that differentiates CAREhER is the power of curated in-depth content. And it goes back to, I think you're also passionate about creating content. That's what my team is passionate about as well. So working with these corporate partners really give us a very credible source of creating those insightful content. And you got to have that drive to want to learn. You got to be curious of what's going on, of these industries' knowledges or people, right? And that's the element we try to kind of embed that into our DNA.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I was going to the next step, but since you've brought this up, maybe I would ask the question as well. When I'm interviewing people, I tend to spend a lot of time what they eat, what they like, what they don't like. And often what I cook, I mean, not what we had today, but often what I cook will be something that I have written myself and trying to create something.
Right.
How do you cater for these corporate? Because as much as you're talking to the speakers, VPs, CEOs, and these guys, there has to be something niche about what you give for them to want to give you their time or allow you in. How do you go about curating for them and make it very personal to each one of them?
There are two things I do that it became more and more important over the years, and that's what I've learned as well. It also goes back to energy saving because, you know, preparing these stuff and interviewing them is actually quite energy costing as well. And the two things, the first one would be you wanted to align expectations.
Okay.
So that expectations comes from asking them those questions of what do you want this, it could be a podcast episode or event. What do you want, what does success look like to you, right? That's the number one question because it all comes from budget and you have to be responsible for these budget and you wanted to have that trust with your clients. So I always, you know, state it up front, like what are we trying to achieve now, right? So that, and it goes through the whole process too, right? The ability to align expectations, I think it's number one for any relationship to maintain or to build that trust.
And it must be also probably one of the difficult things to get right.
It is. It is quite difficult because there are times you have to be very honest and upfront saying like, hey, you know, like what you're asking is probably not going to work. We can't do it, but alternatively, can we do this? So there definitely happened a couple times that some of our more confidential clients wanted a certain event or want to invite certain guests, but sometimes the political, for political reasons or something, it shifted a little bit, or it's a bad timing at that time. And do I hide that information or do I go there and be honest and upfront and tell them? And
how do you deal with it? For example, I don't know who to name drop. I'm not sure, but this person has come and say, hey, you know, for our event, are you able to bring this person on? Do you get those direct?
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Okay. And I totally understand. So it's not just about aligning that expectation, but also really understanding why they need to do that. Because sometimes it's not their goal. It's their boss's goal. Or maybe it's their headquarters that they're visiting Taiwan and they needed to see that key person, right? So for me, as asking a lot of questions, having pre-meetings, or even just something chill like a coffee, just to get to know what's going on. So it's like a one-on-one thing.
Right. Okay.
And then I can think about how I can solve that problem for them. Because
So
maybe they're
dive in a little bit deeper before.
Exactly. And maybe there's other ways to solve it.
Yeah.
It's not, people kind of assume there's only this way, but maybe there's a better way. But being honest, alignment ahead, and also asking questions to know what they really need to achieve is quite important. So that is the number one thing that when I talk to these, I would say, executives, speakers, get to know.
Yeah.
But then also I really like to observe them.
Okay.
So I would have little small touch points with them, either, on WhatsApp, or I kind of stalk their LinkedIn, kind of know how they're like, who they're like. Sometimes
I feel like I'm being coached here for the next guest. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah, like I think people show their true selves, not through verbal communication. A lot of it comes from what they like, what they do, and they're outside of their work. So, for example, there are speakers that you just met, and sometimes they're new to the company. They're a new executive, so I'm not going to go up to them and ask them for budget or ask them for a favor right away. I want to build that trust first. So, and the great thing about us is we have so many events. I can always invite them as,
another one.
like come to my party, and then you get to know me, and then you'll trust me, and you'll trust the brand.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I said work and action speaks louder
for itself,
than words.
yeah.
And then when they come to the event, they see other women that they trust, the other executives. They'll be like, okay, like this is a legitimate platform, right? If this company trusts them, then it should be okay.
And I think it goes back to what you said earlier, is the people that you've worked with, the work speaks for yourself.
Yes.
The evidence is in who's in the room.
Yes.
If I walked in and I just saw anybody else and I'm just thinking, okay, is this worth my time?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And like the other element is, for that trust, you cannot ambush people. And a lot of times people are looking for quick wins, or they are, and I understand that pressure for sure, but you got to think about the long-term relationship.
Absolutely.
Especially for companies like, TSMC, like these companies, they trust you because.
And they also have a public image.
Exactly. Yeah. And working with these big MNCs, for me, it's really working with their comms that made me realize, what do they care most about?
Right.
And it's every time when they ask you certain questions, then you realize, like they don't care about social media. They care about meeting other industry leaders. Yeah. So they don't care about the exposure. They want that private meeting. Yeah. So we'll do a private brunch, a private dinner for them. Okay. Yeah. We're lucky in a sense that most of our clients are not looking for us to help them sell their product. Yeah. Regardless of industry. Yeah. So it's really about how you safeguard their brand, showcase their brand, help them with more interaction, engagement with their talents or with women community.
So you do crossover sort of marketing, PR type of roles. Did those two intersect at some point, I can imagine?
They do.
But how do you maybe stand on the marketing side and make sure, because some of these companies might have their own PR internally or either an external consultant, but making sure I'm not going to tread on anybody's toes. This is where I'm here for. And that also goes to having a definitive purpose, as you mentioned, to go in there. Have you had incidents where you've gone in the business and they think, okay, you're doing too much here, or this is not what we brought you in for? That will be some of the challenges that I guess you have to deal with organizing events.
Earlier days, we definitely have times when the client engage you for one thing, but they expect you to do more. I think it's more that way. Okay. That's how I learned to align ahead quite early on, to be like, hey, I just wanted to align with everyone. We're coming in to do this. Yeah. And if you want us to do that, we need to have a separate agreement, right? And that's what the communication comes from. And it's actually quite clear, because we work with most of the MNCs, it's quite clear what we're there for. Yeah. Companies who lack government relationship or PR, then it's clear we're there to help them with that. Right. Companies that have their own comms and they're very strong already, they need us to do marketing. Right. So it's actually quite clear. And the people who come to the meeting, which department, you can quickly determine, okay, I'm doing...
You can define what...
Yes. So it's actually really fun working with very structured, big organization. And I do have to say, Western companies, like American companies or European companies, they're very good at structuring that, and that's why they scale.
It's more the image more than anything else, because it's a public trading company.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's just a one thing, and then it affects everybody. So, okay.
Yeah, the importance of professional training in all these sense, you really see the value, and you see how it pays off when the company grows bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And for me, I always find it so intriguing to see how each company kind of shaped their culture and how they were able to kind of scale that impact as well.
One thing I always been interested in is culture. When I was doing my MBA, I was very interested in organizational culture, and very quickly you find out sort of the Asian cultures is very much on trust, and whereas I guess the Western, if I can call it that way, is very much on the book, what's in the paper, what's written down. I don't care about you, really. I'm here to do my job in a way. Because some of these organizations being established in Taiwan and across Asia are also filled with American and European C-suite people. That blend of culture, how do you navigate that going in? I mean, of course, you're probably coming from the perfect background, growing up in Taiwan, having a Japanese background, studying and living in the US. You'll probably have a fine balance on everything, but I can still imagine it being, you go in there and people don't really want to open up and talk about things straight away, or deal with why you're there straight away because of the culture.
I would say, so we work with American companies. Most of my clients are U.S. companies.
Right.
I do have to give Americans a bit of a shout out. They're pretty good at kind of replicating the culture even to other markets. And we also have worked with more local traditional Taiwanese companies. And definitely, like you said, sometimes the more family business ones, you walk in, you sit at the meeting, you're like, wow, this is like Succession. You already know the dynamic, what's going on. And sometimes, it's quite frustrating, but it's also quite interesting for me that I would know that sometimes you're there at the meeting to help them put on a show.
Okay.
You're the outsider, you're the third party, but you're the one who says things that they don't want to say to put on the show for them. So it's very, in a way, it's very, not custom, like it's very case by case.
Is it because it's saving face? And if there's any damage, it's the other person.
Right.
Right, okay.
And what I realized for Asian culture, especially for Taiwan and Japan, I think Singapore and Hong Kong is more similar to US, that in a way, yes, they're more transactional,
right,
but also it's easier to get things moving because we're very professional. We just want to get things moving.
Get things done,
I would say Japanese companies, it's still very hierarchy. So sometimes I would actually offer like, hey, do you want me to do the report? I can do the presentation to the boss. Because sometimes they have a more Western CEO in Japan, right? And then they might want to hear certain things. And coming from me, it might be more neutral. But also I would put in a bit time to help kind of ease the mid-level manager and to get to know what's your KPI that I need to help you fix, right? It's always the person who endorses us. I ask them, I kind of care for them the most because they're the one who supported us internally.
Right.
So how do I help you achieve your goal as well? That's what I always keep in mind. And for Taiwan, it's just more interesting because when the family element's in there, you kind of know observe the dynamics. And there are times that we are friends with some of the successors. So you kind of know what challenges that they're facing with the more senior management ones. But sometimes it's the senior management that's telling you like, oh my God, we can't talk to
this person.
We can't communicate, get the idea across.
That was my cultural shock when I first came to
Taiwan.
Really?
Yeah,
I was sitting in meetings and you think you've got an agreement and actually the person sitting opposite side would think, I'm not at your level. Or
they changed right away. Like after the meeting, you thought you agreed and they kept changing.
And it's like, I'll have to consult someone senior. I was like, but you came to the meeting, so surely you've been sent over to give me an answer. And like, that took me a while
Yeah.
to sort of get my head around it. And eventually, I think you have to also, like I think you've said it several times, preparation is key.
Yes.
So part of it is when you're inviting anybody to a meeting, you lay out what you want answers for as the basis. And then you ask, can you bring the people who can actually, give me some answers or help me through it, rather than you send a representative and then they can't.
Yeah.
And it's just like
and I've learned in Japan, they do pre-meetings.
Okay.
So it's like, if you have a big meeting and you kind of align your alliance beforehand, saying like, I'm going to say this later, you're going to back me up.
Yeah.
So I noticed that's some of their culture.
Oh, it's just a plan.
Yes. But I also think it's important to play the foreigner card sometimes. If you're, for us, when we're building a more cross-culture platform, we work with a lot of Japanese partners as well. And I've been traveling and working in Japan for so long, but I deliberately still don't kind of fine-tune my Japanese.
Yeah.
Because sometimes creating that distance is good for you. It really helps.
Yeah.
And it also gives you that space that you know what's going on, but you don't react on it yet.
Yeah.
And that's also what I've been learning when I deal with business development, with clients, is that everyone's going to have their own agenda.
Yeah.
It's not about right or wrong. It's about aligning that agenda to push things forward.
Yeah.
And if you need to pull someone aside to have coffee and ask, do it. If you needed to bring little, omiyage, little pineapple cake for the team to ease it, do it.
Yeah.
So for
Just
me,
sets the tone in there as well.
Exactly. So me, it's like, I think likability is quite important when it comes to business. And women,
it takes a certain kind of people, though.
No, yes, but I think it's something it can be trainable.
Yeah.
But you have to be willing to do it. And for me, I'm very result oriented. As long as I can get
something
stuff done, I think everything is worth that extra effort.
Yeah.
And agree. Just be kind to people, and then they will, at one point, it will pay back. Because people would trust you. People would know that you're not coming in at a hostage perspective, and you're there to help. And there are times I'm definitely like really frustrated by clients. My team knows. I'll be like, oh my God. But that's when I put my frustration into Gemini and ChatGPT.
I love your embrace, the way you've embraced AI.
Yeah, because talking to another people, it requires another layer of energy consumption, right? And then I realize right now when I put my frustration into these AI chat tools, and I would literally say, this client is ridiculous. Like, they keep changing. They have no sense.
What if those clients have built, because the people that you were talking about on the AI are the people who built these tools.
Oh, right.
What if they've created a back end just for you? Just to say, let's just hear what Tiffany says behind closed doors.
I mean, I'd love to have such a brilliant client, but so far I don't think, and I do not put in the client's name when I vent. But it really helped me because they kind of generate a more politically correct and neutral respond.
Right.
And it really helped me also think, okay, this is how I can answer them. So I would say 90% of my partners and clients, I adore them, and they're like, we kind of grow together.
Yeah.
But definitely there are times that you have more conservative or, more traditional clients that come to you, but that's why they come to you, because you can help them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't think anybody comes from an ill place. It's really how you kind of make each other feel.
Right.
So I do have temper most of the times, but I've tried to remind myself. Yeah, of course. I remind myself, like,
I'm not sure.
No.
And I'm just looking at who's doing her behind the scenes shoots, asking that.
Yeah, no, I mean, we do vent about, there's always going to be frustration at work.
Yeah.
But it also, at the end of the day, I will think of how can I make this better? So in the future, I can deal with this type of situation better.
Right.
Sometimes it's a lesson that universe wants to give you, and you gotta graduate from that.
Yeah.
And in order to graduate from that, you need to start think about, okay, how can I improve this?
Yeah. I have a friend who told me this morning, just before, he's in the UK, so he was working late, and he said to me, do you know the things you pray for, God is not going to give you that. I was like, what do you mean? He said, he will give you the problems. So you will be, if
trained,
you're looking for...
prepared for
it.
Yeah.
If you're praying for patience, you're going to give you the most frustrating person ever. and then that will build your patience.
Yeah.
And so kind of similar to what
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh my God. I've been starving for days.
But please enjoy this.
Again too. So good. Stephanie, try.
We're going to go into the quick fire round. It's a little game that I've introduced, and you're the first to play.
Okay.
So the first one is what comes to mind. Breakfast.
Eggs and coffee.
Comfort food.
Oh gosh, fried chicken.
So I did well.
Yeah, I love fried chicken.
To be fair, I didn't fry mine, I baked it.
Baked though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Baked or fried?
Baked.
Sweet tooth level.
Like 12?
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're off the chart.
Yeah.
And I didn't give you any dessert.
No,
I'm
we're
sorry.
good.
Dessert.
Donuts, pudding.
So you have an array, so donuts and puddings. Late night snack.
Truffle salt potato chips.
Oh, from the bag or homemade?
Oh, from the bag. I can't make anything. Okay. From the bag. Yeah, from the bag.
Okay. Vacation.
Location would be Italy.
Okay.
Anywhere in Italy. The style would be I would love to have gelato and pasta on repeat.
So it's just Italy then?
Yeah, just Italy.
Okay. So, and the style, would that be in a cabin or in a hotel or in a resort or?
Hotel.
Hotel. I bet it's like 7-star.
No, I think 5 is enough. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. If you go back 10 years ago, where CAREhER is
Oh,
now.
okay. Yes, I actually think at this point is what we envision to be able to produce great content, but also have a great community. These are the two things that I'm most passionate about. Create great storytelling and gathering great people together.
Yeah. Tiffany, where are you now about knowing her? So if you take yourself back as a person 10 years ago, how do you see her?
Know her?
How do you know yourself?
Myself?
Yeah.
Probably am at the place that I see myself would be in 10 years, that I'm more understanding, I'm more fearless, but I'm also more honest with myself.
Okay.
And I manage my energy better. I'm actually less tired.
Okay.
I would say I'm less
Is there a
tired.
secret?
Huh?
Is there a secret?
Yeah, I think it's really managing your energy.
Okay.
And I eat healthier. And I do things with better purpose.
Yeah.
So it doesn't drain my energy.
Okay.
And I'm more able to set boundaries.
Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah.
That's very important.
I sleep better.
Okay. If you were to change one thing now for CAREhER and for yourself going forward, what would that be? Just one. You have only one thing to change.
One thing to change. Oh, gosh.
You've been nice to me, so I will give you a bonus. 2 things.
2 things to change. The 2 things to change. Wow. What would I change?
That's good.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to change, that's brilliant. I think anyway.
It's a bit hard to say because, because of this interview, I looked back at a lot of things we've done, and I wanted to share one quick story.
Go ahead.
In 2022, it was right when the lockdown opened, and I traveled to Japan because I wanted to start doing Japan. Because we did so many events in Taiwan, but we realized that people are going to travel, and they're going to pick travel over our event. Right. So we should expand. And I went to this hotel that it's newly built in Aoyama called Aoyama Grand. It's beautiful. I love it. I love that vibe and everything. I stay there, and then they're opening a rooftop bar. It's beautiful. They don't have the trees or anything yet. So they're like, oh, yeah, I was at the restaurant. I was staying at the restaurant. I was using the restaurant. And they're like, you could go take a look. They haven't opened it. I took a video, and I still have the date. I think it's like around September 26th. I sent it to my co-founder, Christina. I was like, dude, look at this. This is so amazing. I would love to do an event here. So that's 2022, 2002 and September. Fast forward 2025 this year, September, around June. We hosted a 100 PAX event.
Wow.
All Japanese, women traveling. on the rooftop, and Stephanie, my team, was there. That was her
Yeah.
second big event, and
Wow.
we were there, and they had all the trees set up. It's already a very vibing, happening bar.
Yeah.
It was less than 3 years. So that's why I said it's hard for me to change anything, because I do believe in manifesting it.
Yeah.
But you have that goal and you kind of try to work towards it.
Yeah.
But you don't know the answer yet.
Correct.
You need to keep moving forward
Yeah.
to work towards it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like hard to tell you what to change,
Yeah.
because we've been fixing everything
Right.
every day on a daily basis.
And that's why I also think it's a good thing, because I think when you're in the early phases, there's probably more than two things you would have wanted to change. But having seen so much progress in the journey and where you are so far, it's impressive just to say it's working.
Yeah.
And if it's working, why change it?
Yeah, and you get that feeling because we're running a community. People come and people tell you things, and it immediately gives you fulfillment.
Yeah.
And you know that it's working.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's hard for me to think, what am I going to change in a major way? But it's we kind of refine it every time.
Yeah.
So
it's ever evolving. So there are small incremental changes in the journey. So I guess there's no need for a big change. To CAREhER community, what's the one thing on your heart that you would like to share?
I think this community had given me more than what I expected, especially once we start expanding to cities that we never thought that we would know people there. Like Taipei is small. So when we started it, we're not as worried because we have friends who support us. But when we did Singapore, Hong Kong, and mostly Japan, because right now we have 600 people in Tokyo itself, is that people really, they don't know you, but they trust what you're building. And they are willing to come and support you. And so belonging is not just for me. It's a collective journey for everyone. It's a journey for CAREhER. It's a journey for all these women. And I can't tell you the answer because everyone's shaping it with us, right? In Japan, we see women who don't know each other. They went to the same school. They came to our event and they were like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I know we kind of are on the right path, because you're really attracting like-minded people. And then every time when I'm at an event, people always come talk to me. And I think that's a great thing, because people want to tell you like, hey, why I'm here, what I expect, can we do this and that?
Yeah.
So this community definitely has given me more than what we expected.
Okay.
And it's really shaping the future together.
Yeah.
It goes back to why I can't tell you what to change
What to
yet,
change,
because it's driven by the community, right? Like people wanted, we're doing travel, because people are like, hey, what about we do a small group of 14 women traveling to cities with a local curator, doing things that other people can't go or can't access. And through that journey, you kind of build that connection together, right? So we're always testing new things. We did that, and it was full in one day. And we have local curators, hotels, everything supporting us.
Yeah.
So I think that's really fulfilling to do community, because you're never alone.
Yeah.
The biggest difference for now and 12 years ago when I was in Silicon Valley is there was not one moment I feel alone. Most of the time, like, leave me alone.
That's
I need alone time. Yeah.
Because I think that's how the conversation started. You feeling alone, and the testament of what you've done is you don't feel alone now.
Yeah, not alone at all. And I can be by myself for days, but you don't feel alone because you know someone's thinking of you. You know someone's doing something in this community. You know people are trying to bring this community further. And you always meet people that people introduce.
Yeah.
So we never lack contact. We never lack new people coming or speakers, because that power of referral is very, very strong when they trust you. And I never a dull moment, to be honest. And even with work, it's like we have projects after projects, and they're all people that you find very, very rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and that really goes back to belonging. People probably resonate with what you're doing.
Yes.
And it's very hard to quantify what it is, which is my next big goal for the next few years.
I was going to ask that. So what's next for
CAREhER?
But
It's my next, I would say, mission is we all know belonging is important. And when AI or technology is even more advanced, the world is changing. That sense of belonging is more and more important.
Correct.
But how do you quantify? How do you define it? How do you quantify it? How do you scale it? That's my next big challenge, and then what we're tackling. I believe it's something you can kind of replicate.
Yeah.
But how do you do it? And that's what we're working on now.
Well, I'll be having you back to tell me how you've done it.
Thank you.
And I think this is very wonderful. It's been a great conversation, getting to know a bit more about CAREhER, what you do, and the impact itself is amazing. And I think, if nothing at all, the impact is your perspective now of not feeling
Yes,
alone.
definitely.
And I'm sure that goes for the hundreds of people that also you've touched, where they feel the sense of community and sharing with like-minded people in not just in the salons that you have or the events that you have, but just even in the days where they feel alone, they can look back and say, hey, okay, it's okay. I have this person
definitely.
I can talk to. So thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you. Thank you,
I'll
Ernest.
ask one thing, and one thing is, this is an evolving podcast. So if there's anything you can share with me about myself, or is it something that you sort of expected me to ask, I didn't ask, or something you want to tell me about the events or the podcast, and please feel free.
I really love the food part.
Everybody loves the food part.
No, and I also think because by asking your guests what they food dietary requirements or guessing what they might like, it also creates that sense of intimacy, and it shows your thought. And there's something about food, especially for our events, when we do events, food is so important because it really brings people kind of together.
Yeah.
And like you said, the process of watching you making it, it kind of really brings that atmosphere. And the sun's out right now too, right? It really brings out that type of the relaxing energy and helps the conversation. So I think that's a great touch that you should continue.
Okay.
Or even like make it even fancier.
Okay.
and doing other dessert segments and all that. But I think that makes the show very different and uniquely you, because the guests can see how much effort you put in to prepare that, and it makes our conversation really fun. And the fact that you're very aesthetically,
I try.
You're catering all this to the audience. I think it's a great element. But keep that food going.
Thank you. I'll try and keep it going. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Ernest.
been my pleasure.
Thank you.
I hope that you've enjoyed it too.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. Another wonderful episode of the Bite Size Chat, speaking to Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany and CAREhER, so much for joining us today on Bite Size Chat. And we hope you watching, listening to us have also enjoyed the episode. If you have, please like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for now. Until next time, keep having the Bite Size Chat.